disciplined puncher, a strong fighter, and I think he needs to throw his combos and get out. He has this tendency of admiring his work just a little too much for my liking. I feel like, hey man, if you're gonna throw 4 or 5 punch combos, get out, because you're clearly not moving your head. And boom! Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm gonna go over 3 ways that my homeboy Austin Williams can become the new WBC middleweight champion and overcome Carlos Adames. Now I know the odds are stacked against him and the odds of him winning are very low, but I'm gonna go over 3 ways that he can implement certain tactics that can give him the one up on our homeboy Carlos Adames, right? Tip number 1 for my homeboy Austin Williams is get in and get out. Austin Williams is not a big mover of the upper body. He is almost too stationary sometimes. Yes, he ducks and weaves, no more than the regular boxer, but that's not his forte. He is a disciplined puncher, a strong fighter, and I think he needs to throw his combos and get out. He has this tendency of admiring his work just a little too much for my liking. I feel like, hey man, if you're gonna throw 4 or 5 punch combos, get out, because you're clearly not moving your head and you're not moving to the side enough, and he honestly gets caught in a lot of punches after his combos. Just go check out the Shiras fight that he actually lost. All right. Tip number 2, he doesn't like to duck and weave too often. And I am going to advise that he ducks and weaves after every combo. Boom, 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 get to the side. Boom, 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 get to this side. He does admire his work just a little too much, or almost feels like his power should have hurt the other individual, even though he doesn't counter punch that often. He is not a counter puncher by any means. He will try to walk you down, enter in with his jab, which is a very good jab. And once he gets in, he throws his combos, and majority of the time, you know, the other person will be, you know, holding up their gloves, and he punches around the gloves, and he does land some, but he's not catching them off guard. He's not landing flush. He does have some pop, but because he doesn't counter punch that much at all, it's more like, hey, you're hoping that the other person is tired enough to where your punches could accumulate, so even if he's blocking some of them or he sees them coming, it hurts them anyway. So tip number 2 for Austin Williams is duck and weave. You know what I'm saying? After every combo, boom, boom, go to the side. Next combo, boom, go to this side, get out. Get in, get out, duck and weave after every combo. Don't stand there and admire your work. Tip number 3 for Austin Williams is establish the jab and offset Carlos Adames' rhythm. Carlos Adames is a very good rhythm fighter. If you saw his fight versus Shiras, he was actually reading Shiras a lot. And I think Shiras had a lot of success early on because he was able to establish a jab, which is what I'm recommending that Austin Williams does. But what happens is that at some point, when he started to slow down just a little bit, Carlos Adames was able to pick that up and start putting the beats on our homeboy. Now, he is a rhythm fighter. You see him, he's moving to the side all the time. If he's walking you down, he's moving to like this. And there's times where you could throw a jab and he's right to your side and he counters you with the right hand. The right hand doesn't even have to fully extend. He's that close because he's such a rhythm fighter. So I'm saying Austin Williams needs to establish that jab. If you're not going to combo and get in and then get out and weave, at the bare minimum, while he's trying to read you, because that's exactly what Carlos Adames is going to do, is establish that jab and stop telegraphing those punches. There is one thing that Austin Williams does is, believe it or not, he telegraphs his punches. That's why people don't get so stunned by him. He is a decent puncher, but because he telegraphs his punches ever so slightly. It's not a huge, he doesn't, no, it's more like right before he throws the jab, he's boom. You know what I'm saying? He's like stops and throws the punches, especially when he starts getting tired in the second half of the fight. He just telegraphs those punches a little too much, that on this elite level that he's currently competing in, is just more noticeable. And a guy like Carlos Adames is just going to eat that up, man. He's going to, once he gets the rhythm and once he starts noticing how you're telegraphing those punches, he's going to eat you alive. So those are my 3 tips for our homeboy Austin Williams to become new champ. But I do want to add one more thing and give my final prediction. Carlos Adames is clearly struggling to make weight. He's a dense dude. He's not so tall, but he's dense. And I don't think he's in a rush to go to 168 where there's a lot of tall guys. You know, so your hope, if you're Austin Williams, is, hey, my dude's going to be a little tired because of the weight drain. Because he is going to be a little weight drained. To say that he's not weight drained at all would be naive, right? But that doesn't mean that he's going to gas out. I don't think Austin Williams has that big of a gas tank. Like he does, you know, he has enough to go 10 to 12 rounds, but he definitely slows down those second half of those fights. I don't know if Austin Williams is a 12-round fighter. He might be a 10-round fighter, honestly. Just because he telegraphs so much, everything starts to show, and it's not easy, but when you start telegraphing your punches and you're getting a little tired, it's easier to start breaking down your will and get you out of there, or at least have you mentally give up. But my final prediction, even though I'm giving advice for Austin Williams to win this fight, I'm going with Carlos Adames. I don't think the weight drain is going to be enough to get him out of there. I think he's going to be just enough in good shape to beat Austin Williams, and before either of them starts tiring it out, right? Because tiring out, which could play a factor. It could play a factor in both ways to both fighters, right? I think the early rounds are going to go to Carlos Adames because he is just good at reading you. Maybe the first 2 rounds, if Austin Williams could really establish that jab, he could get those. But I don't think he has enough in his repertoire to beat Carlos Adames. That's my final prediction. I'm predicting Carlos Adames. Potentially a knockout. I'm going to stay in the safe route because I do think Austin Williams can handle his power and go with a 12-round unanimous decision, guys. That's my prediction for this fight. If you like what you heard here, if you like breakdowns, subscribe to the channel, guys. Till the next one, I'm out. Boom.